And we're live. And we are live. We are live with the Castle Keeper's Guide. And I think this might be the last episode. So I'm actually really jazzed to have two very special people with us, Casey and Ainsley Christopherson. Guys, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
No, I am super pumped. When was the last time we spoke? I mean, seriously.
Oh, in person?
Probably two RPG cons ago.
Yeah, it would have been 2019 North Texas.
Right? Yeah, it was
Which was
North Texas.
The best one.
It was a great convention. And yeah, that was like a year and a half ago now, or something crazy like that.
Oh, it's all coming up on. It'll be 2 years in June. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing's gonna happen before then, at least for me. I don't know about you guys.
Well, I'm scheduled to get my second vaccination in about 2.5 weeks.
Okay.
So, and hopefully the girls will be all taken care of soon.
Yeah, hopefully before graduation.
Yeah. So.
I think I'm on the last list. I have no expectations for when I'm gonna get it. You know.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure how they're gonna contact me, to be honest with you.
Eventually, I think you got to go to wherever your local county health board is, and they'll usually have like a list of when you qualify.
Got it.
As they go down the list. So it's kind of like the old, orange, yellow, blue, green. People in this zone get to go at this such and such time. I was a teacher with pre-existing conditions, so that's what got me.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because they want face-to-face school really bad, so they know the best way to do that is to, inoculate all the teachers who are at risk and any staff members who, after that want to get it. So I was very grateful for that opportunity.
I'm actually deeply humbled that they actually recognized you for that, because I think if they're gonna ask you to obviously be at school and teach kids, they gotta at least look after you,
Right. And we need to have the kids. We need to get the kids back. We need to get them back to, even if it's distant socialization, they gotta have that. They gotta have the pressure of having a bottom in the seat and that whole thing.
They're used to that. That's usually what got them through school.
Right.
Was the personal expectations of others that they could see.
Right. Plus, that they put on their makeup and do their eyes, and
they get to see their friends and not.
I noticed the eyes. The eyes. I'm sure we're going to be talking about them afterwards, because I'm pretty sure that's a thematic edition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. your new style.
Yeah.
So what's been going on, guys, in the year and a half that we haven't chatted? What have you been doing? What have you been working? Ainsley, I know that you've had some big life changes going on.
Yes, I have. I went from a junior, nearing the end of AP Art, to doing school at home, sending in my AP Art score, which I got a 4 on. That was really cool.
Not bad.
And then I started senior year, hybrid
learning.
Completely changed my look. I said to everyone, I'm gonna look different so that you guys remember me when I leave, because I ain't never coming back.
Yeah.
And then I kind of graduated early.
So, yep, she picks up her diploma in May, but she's completed with all of her expectations for receiving a high school diploma in the state of Kansas. So that's pretty cool, and managed to pull a year worth of college credit while she was in high school. So that's pretty great. We're real proud of her for that. But,
that's awesome.
We've done a lot of sitting in the house staring at each other.
Oh, so much.
I started out playing a lot of VR, and then I just got to the point where I was well, this is fun, but I've already beat all of Zach Glazer's high scores on Pistol Whip, so now I'm sad.
And there's no new songs that he's willing to buy on Beat Saber, so I stopped playing.
I'm just gonna have to to crack it and download all the songs. I got to bite the bullet and do the thing.
Yeah, because you can only play Green Day so many times before it becomes repetitive.
I love Green Day, and I'm going to agree with that statement 100%. I get it.
Oh man, loving these maps. I'm excited for their for the new Castle Keepers guide. I'm really excited for that.
So I don't know how much of this you've actually seen.
Very, very little, honestly. We've been so busy, just busy.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I'll just kind of slowly pan through them a little bit so you can sort of see what's going on here.
Oh wow.
And so you know what it is. I mean, there's 12 maps, varying from the thorp to a hamlet to a village.
Right.
And then they asked us to start doing, some military complexes. So we've got that going on.
Well, and I know where all of this comes from, knowing Stephen as well as I do, and Davis for that matter. Stephen's got that medieval history degree that he's been drawing from for quite some time. So.
I gotta be honest with you. I actually, I did not know that Stephen loved this almost elevated view or cutaways as much as he does.
Oh yeah.
And this was something where my my Twitch folks actually were like, you should do a block tower, and I'd never heard of a block tower. Then someone else said you should do a cutaway, and I'm like, what? And they convinced me to do it because I'm like, well, a tower from above is pretty boring, you know. I'm going to draw a circle. I'm going to do a field around it, and Stephen is not going to be pleased, you know. So I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot to do a cutaway. And then I'm like, this is the only one I'm going to do. This is the only cutaway I'm going to do. I'm not doing any more elevated views. And the next minute, we got the Motte and Bailey. And I'm like, okay, so a Motte and Bailey from above is pretty boring too. It's going to look like a lopsided 8. So, all right, maybe I'll do this one in a stylized sort of look-down view. And then, bugger me, that got me actually doing the castle as well. I'm like, fine. So I'm not good at it. It takes me a long time to get there. But I'm gonna keep hacking at it. It's gonna become a new thing I do.
They look pretty great. They honestly do. That's
Well, you two are artists, so I gotta be honest with you. It's like talking to you both is a little bit like talking to Lloyd and Raven. Right. You know, I'm intimidated because you're all artists, and I don't consider myself to be an artist. I draw maps. It's different. I mean, I know it could be art, but it's a different style. So doing this type of thing is a struggle for me.
It's a style for sure. It's a style, but that doesn't make it not an art.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but you're going to look at things like this, and I know you are because you are both trained artists, and you're going to be, what angle is that? What is that's weird? That's off. That isometric is off. But I mean, I'll get better at it. I'll keep hacking away.
Well, you've only been doing it for how long? And I've been attempting to do it for 20 years and then angering everyone in the process.
Yeah. It's gotten so bad that he makes me do them.
Now I make Ainsley do maps, and my life has gotten easier, and hers has gotten significantly harder.
So much harder.
Well, actually, so talking of which, and I know we're going to talk about your respective projects here shortly, but Ainsley, do you mind if I actually show that map that Casey just shared with me shortly ago?
Go ahead. Yeah,
all right.
Go ahead.
I want to show folks in the chat. And by the way, Princess Strega, hi darling, love you. Alex Vixen, good to have you here. Keep everyone under control. Alex Vixen, by the way, Casey Ainsley is my moderator, and she's awesome.
Nice.
So this is what Ainsley came up with. And I think we're going to talk about the project for this one, right?
Right. Yeah, why don't you tell them what it is?
Okay, so it is the first floor of an inn run by like a hobbit thief woman and a catkin thief man and their minotaur buddy, pretty much.
So It's the name of the inn is the Cat and Fiddle. So we have characters in from the Hey Diddle Diddle, Cat and the Fiddle. So they're basically a kind of a little organized crime, a thievery ring that owns an inn, and they will they don't steal from the people who stay at their inn, but they'll go through their belongings to find out if they know someone who's got money. And then they'll go and rob the people that they're getting ready to go visit or had just come back from.
I like it.
Pretty much steal the reward.
Yeah. And so we introduced a new swords and wizardry character race, and he since they don't really have a bard in swords and wizardry, he's a rogue that happens to be able to play the violin, and he's got a little enchanted violin. So. But I said he needs a stage to go out and play his songs to make his whole audience.
I see the stage with all of the seats in front of it. Yeah.
And she's a theater kid, so.
Yeah, so there's usually like a huge backstage area for, all sorts of props and stuff. And then this stage is pretty small in the front because it's usually manned by one person.
Right.
But the stage at my high school is a lot bigger.
Yeah, I had her do a proscenium stage so that he can walk out like Elvis into the crowd and,
Nice. Yeah, get right here. I love it.
Yeah. So, and then, this is, it's like, that's part of this project, which we did is the Catpocalypse Now. Meow. Catpocalypse Meow. Which is all cat-themed stuff, but it's not like, some of it's silly and some of it's goofy and it's lighthearted, but it's actually like tough, challenging adventure with like, it's like the stuff I'd write for Frog God or Troll Lord or any of the other people that I've worked for. It's just the kind of stuff where it's like, okay, so I've got this inn and it's run by cat people, and they'd be like, yeah, I don't know. So the stuff I know I can't get past Bill and Matt is the stuff that's going into our Dirty Bob's lineup of products. So
now let me ask you a question, because we're going to talk about this Catpocalypse.
Right.
Is this something that is going to be available though through the Frogs? Are you going to have it on their store or what?
We're actually just doing it all on our own. It's the first time I'm trying this out, so I'm just to explain it better. My lovely daughter here is getting ready to go to college in the fall to study business. And so I thought, what better way to really study business than to start a small business that, as long as it's profitable and fun, we can have profit and fun together, maybe pay for her books or, some tuition money, or give her spending money, whatever she needs for her work into the project. Absolutely. But also, like I said, to have fun and do more lighthearted stuff. That's a little different. So we've got kind of a good set of ideas moving forward as well. I've got the whole support of the fellas, of course. Like they understand this is just some weird stuff. But like I said, best way to send a kid to a business school is to show them how to do the work, do the sales, put in the business, and do the thing.
All right. So shall we talk about Catpocalypse, or shall I show the cover to Catpocalypse first?
You can. Yeah,
why not both?
Yeah, let's talk about the cover here, because
I like Ainsley's style. All right.
Why not both?
Why not both? So I'm gonna so everyone in the chat, and if you're watching this video later, I just want you to feast your eyes on this. Dirty Boobies Roadhouse presents Catpocalypse Meow.
Yes.
Talk to me about this.
Okay, so I tried initially to do the Apocalypse Now cover with the faces as cats and stuff, and I was categorically just shot to pieces by my wife and daughter. I was pretty mad.
Let us explain why. See, he was trying to do a whole different color palette to the actual poster, which the colors he chose as a teacher who understands color theory just did not go well.
They blew me up pretty bad. So
it was And he was discouraged, and I understand being
Yeah.
discouraged about stuff
Yeah.
like that. But man,
Because I was doing a pretty good job, but the colors were weird. I agree.
colors were so.
I went with like a green blue instead of the red orange, you know, but there was reasons for that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean the whole copyright thing. Still.
Yeah. Well, there was also, it wasn't really copyright thing because it's a satire, and satire
Yeah.
kind of have a
So
little
that's
fun.
how we.
So that's where this came about. It's a satire from the Fire and Ice, the Frazetta poster that he did of Fire and Ice, but it includes the characters that Ainsley came up with for the comic that goes along with it. I guess the way to think about it is I wanted to do something that was like Dragon Magazine and Dungeon Magazine, where it had comic books, it had adventure stuff, it had new magic items, it had all kinds of great things that you could add or not add to your game at your pleasure. And so I was really inspired by that sort of thing, and I thought, what a fun way to go for our first project.
Yeah.
But so I looked at the Fire and Ice thing, and then I redrew it with these characters that we have that are in the adventure that goes along with it. So
Yeah.
the setup is kind of like you've got her comic strip, which are comic book, three-page
Yeah.
comic story that leads right into like a 12, 14-page adventure.
Yeah.
And then
with all of my personally created characters.
right.
Free to play in the
In the big maze.
Yeah, the big maze.
So
So,
We've
but
got,
then tell us about the origin of Catpocalypse here.
Well, my wife is she's awesome. What do they say? Cool wife, cool life. That's what I've been saying all week because I'm trying to get brownie points. It's working. We have 3 cats, and they're very rambunctious. We've got the Frisky and the lady Sif, and which we call Sif, and then the new one, the kitten Freya, who just she snuggles with the one and beats the tar out of the other one, and that's kind of how that goes. But so I live with a crazy cat lady, and she's a for real cat whisperer. And when we played Dungeons and Dragons for the last 22, 25 years that she and I have been together, she's always like a ranger or a druid or somebody who has animal companions and this kind of thing. And she and I started out playing old AD&D and second edition a long time ago, so that's just always been kind of the theme with her. Whenever we're playing a game, she's like, I want to be this character that has this pet, whatever, leopard, tiger, cat, you name it. And so we've been kind of teasing her about it a little bit. In one of our recent campaigns, she chose to be a cleric of Freya, and she didn't want to be the cleric, but she chose Freya because Freya was one of the cat goddesses, and she's all about Bast and Freya and some of the others. So that's kind of where we kind of struck up the idea. We've been quarantined and stuck in the house together and playing online D&D for the last year now, and so it's like, well, why don't we just kind of do our own thing and put out, we should make a cat book, haha. So we started drawing pictures and like writing up designs and ideas and stuff, and I mentioned it to my good friend Levi Combs, Planet X Games, and he's like, why is this not out for Zine Quest? How many pages you got? And I'm like, I don't know, 20, 24. He goes, well, Zine Quest next month, you need to get ready. And so I put all the stuff together and launched my thing, and I totally didn't follow the Zine Quest instructions, and so, here we are.
Yeah.
Oh, and this is actually a
Promoting it in different
Kickstarter?
ways.
This is actually being
actually a
Kickstarted
Kickstarter.
right now?
Yeah, it's actually going on right now.
It's got 4 days left, so
Oh, come on, folks. Get in on this. This is finished.
Yeah, we'll be within a week or two of sending it to the layout. Like right after we close out in 5 days, we'll be within about 7 to 10 days of sending it to layout to get it laid out. So I'm guessing backers within 2 or 3 weeks should have a PDF. And then after the PDF, it goes to the printer, and they'll have everything when they have it, because we don't know what the Postal Service is doing. and so we said June, and we're going to cross our fingers and hope and pray that the Postal Service gets its stuff figured out, and we get a little bit better handle on the COVID situation and all that good stuff. But yeah, we're ready to roll. We've got the last mini layout that I sent you. I didn't lay out the whole thing, but estimating from what I sent you, we've got a good 38 to 42 pages already.
I actually just saw this tick up. I just saw this tick up in front of my eyes. That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And we're extremely grateful for that.
So Princess Strega asks, will it be available in print after the backers get theirs?
Yes. That is the plan, that it should be ready to. We're gonna print enough copies to have a good 150 copies left over to be able to sell, and we'll probably do the drive-through RPG or one of those outlets for people to be able to access the PDF afterwards. So I mean, we're ready to go, and there's Ainsley's cartoons right here. So
I like these two panels. It's got great timing to it. Ah, good. Everyone, our guests have arrived. It's time to eat. Nice. I like it. This is good.
And that's our Jay Catsby character. Yeah. So
this looks fun. This looks really fun. I gotta be honest with you. Facebook being Facebook, I had no idea that you two were working on this.
Oh, actually, my wife is. She helped write a bunch of the spells and things. Yeah, she's been playing. She's been gaming with me for a long time, and this year marks my 20th year working in the business. Yeah. So first in print, 2001, with Rappanathic 2. I had poems in Rappanathic 2 in 2001. So wow. Yeah.
Like a year before I was born.
Yeah.
So I gotta know. Okay, if we're teaching Ainsley business, are you gonna make her do all of the shipping?
Oh yeah, she gets she gets to pack packages. And,
packing's fine.
She gets to pack envelopes and write thank you notes.
Yeah, I can do that. I thought he meant like actually printing out the address stickers. And
no, Mom will handle some of that, but you get to deliver the stuff to the post office because I want them to still like me.
Yeah, send the 18-year-old who might need to send college applications and scholarship applications down the line. 100%. Yeah, those ladies will love me after that.
100%. They'll absolutely love you.
And Princess also says, is it going to be on drive-through?
Yes, that's the plan, is to get it hosted on drive-through after it's done, for sure. So after the backers get their print copies, then we'll put it up on drive-through for the world. Nice,
really nice.
Yeah.
So where do you see this going next? Do you think we'll see an episode 2?
Well, that's actually guaranteed because we had enough content for the first one.
We have an overflow.
So we have a start for a second one already.
Ooh, okay.
That's cat-based, but we also have another one that's going to be a little bit. I don't want to say like I don't know how to put it. It's not like your normal post-apocalyptic type thing, but it is very much going to be a punk rock thrash metal theme.
It's almost like if you took Mad Max and Warped Tour and just kind of blended it in like a mix of...
With a bunch of Iron Maiden covers.
Yeah. So that's our next idea.
Yeah. So the actually the Dirty Bob's Roadhouse came from a mud that we played that was run by White Wolf. That's where I met Bill Webb and Clark Peterson like over 20 years ago. We all had characters that played on the mud, and I didn't believe them when they told me they owned one of the imprints for Sword and Sorcery Studios, you know, because we didn't know what catfishing was, but it sounded pretty shady. And you know, when somebody tells you, "Oh yeah, I'm a prosecutor in Las Vegas," sure you are, buddy. And then you're like,
got a license you want to scan for me?
And turns out all true. Yeah. So it's those strange incidences where you meet people on the internet who actually are who they say they are, And they're honestly genuinely decent people who are out there to help other people break into the business. How awesome is that?
That's really, really, really awesome. We do have some very familiar faces too in the chat. I'm gonna let you both know now. We have Chuck in here, we have Alazilla in here, we have Phantom Jen in here.
Nice. Hey everybody.
Hello.
And if you've not backed this Kickstarter, get over there and back the Kickstarter. Come on, folks. Come on, this is a brilliant project. I absolutely love it.
Well, thank you. We're pretty excited, and actually kind of, I guess another thing to add, and I keep forgetting to mention this, and I want to mention it. One of the kind of things that was an impetus for trying this out, because I've been very blessed. I've been very fortunate. I've had 20 years in the business. I've worked with Goodman. I've worked with Necromancer, Frog God, Troll Lords, and Planet X. I mean, he's my good friend Levi, and getting all of these guys going. So it's not something that I need to do. I'm extremely busy when it comes to RPG work, and I'm also extremely grateful for that. They kind of put me on as the full-time art director for Frog God a few years back, and it's been nice being able to meet all of the wonderful people that I've been able to meet and to work with all of these talented artists and completely steal their techniques and ideas. So, but it's how people enhance and inspire one another to do greater and better stuff. And going back to the thing where Bill and Clark are like, hey, come on into this world and write some stuff, create some stuff, that opportunity that was given to me, and then which has really helped build my family over the years. If I think about it, why would I want to take that opportunity to go succeed away from anyone else who comes and asks me what can I do to get into the business? So that's been kind of my mantra all along, which is how I approached talking with John Larson, Levi Combs, great guys like that, and just telling them, hey, this is the amount of work you're going to put in, and this is the tough stuff you're going to have to do. And I just know it from the being in the process, being one cog in the wheel, as an author, as a art director, as a creative consultant, whatever. It is a lot of work, but it's a passion, and it's like I told somebody one time, it's a hobby. It's a hobby lifestyle. The fact that I make a little money on it is pretty great, but it's totally the lifestyle. You paint the minis, you paint the maps. I paint the minis. I can't see them anymore.
Well, Mom paints the minis.
Yeah, if Mom paints the minis nowadays, then I do the touch. I do the finishing touch with like 4 pairs of goggles to be able to see the details. But she's my wife's a great painter. Printed tons and tons of terrain and materials, and so man, like I said, it's a lifestyle, and because of it, that's kind of how we got this one here as well. So she's like literally born into the whole scheme, because we're pretty sure she came from a gamma convention.
A gamma convention.
Yeah. But that would be pre-Ainsley Gamma Convention, and that's
They always say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Or sometimes they become your financial liability for 18 to life. So
not all sayings are solid.
We're recording this, right, Casey?
Yeah.
And so in years to come, when she's a successful businesswoman, she's going to say, Dad, no, I'm not supporting you. Oh, no.
No, this is a story I tell my best friends. I'm like, here, let me tell you how I became to be.
So you started with gaming, and you've been with gaming your whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, we took her to the, I want to say, was it the last one? It was either the last Gen Con in Wisconsin. No. Or it was the first one in Indianapolis. I can't remember which one.
I don't think I've ever been to Wisconsin.
Yeah, maybe not. So it might have been the first one. Might have been the first one in Indianapolis we went to when she was just a toddler. So she actually got to get held by Gary Gygax. That's pretty cool.
Oh wow!
This,
okay.
I don't remember this.
And she's got autographed books by Tony DiDerisi.
Yes, I do. I have an autographed Spiderwick book, the second one.
Yeah.
From Tony.
Yeah.
Which is
and Holly,
cool.
I think.
And Holly.
Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So those were like the first books with chapters that she actually finished reading when she was little. And
then I reread them again because I forgot.
And she was just absolutely, she got the last one. She was absolutely in tears.
I was in the car. I think we were on the way to RPG Con. And I was in the car reading the very last one and I just started crying.
Yeah.
I was just bawling.
But it was crazy because I happened to, at the time, I was on Tony's personal Facebook. Somehow we had friends in common, so he was nice enough to accept me in a friend request. So I told her, well, write him a letter and tell him how you felt. So she wrote it, and I snapped a picture of it and sent it to him. And he's like, I'm sending this to Holly. This is the best thing I've seen all day. So, and you got to meet Stan Lee, so that was pretty cool. Yeah.
It was the best 3 seconds to 7 minutes of my life, of my young adult life.
So,
and then right after that, we got to meet Glenn Morshower, who was in some of the X-Men movies.
Glenn Morshower, everyone, you're like, I don't know who that is, but then when you see him, you're like, this guy's in everything.
Yeah.
So,
he plays every army general I've ever seen.
Okay.
Yeah. He's the guy who's the head of the military command in the Transformers movies. And he was in 24.
Yeah, he was in 24.
As one of the Secret Service agents. So, but yeah, she struck up a conversation with him, and they had a good long talk. And she had Stan Lee sign
a small sketchbook drawing.
A sketchbook drawing that she drew of Stan Lee imagining Spider-Man.
Yeah.
In a big thought bubble above his head.
I think I was the youngest kid in that Meet Stanley line.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, she's definitely going to get a conversation with him. She's like 9 years old and adorable. So everybody was a little jealous.
And she sure did. Yeah.
How old were you back then?
I think you were 9.
I was probably 8 or 9.
Yeah.
All right.
I think we stopped.
All right. So how long have you been a geek nerd? Because for a lot of us, especially at my age, our parents weren't into this type of thing. So Ainsley, what are your memories of getting into role playing and stuff?
Well, my memories start pretty young. I was probably about 5 or 6 when my parents were like, come on, join us. So in the mind of a 5 or 6-year-old, you're like, wow, this is going to be so cool. And then you're sitting there in a fold-out chair waiting for your turn, which takes about 10 to 15 minutes. And, to put a long story short, my interest in D&D did not start then. I was pretty reluctant to a lot of D&D and Disney stuff, or not Disney, fantasy stuff growing up, mostly because I was surrounded by it for a long time. But over time, closer to the beginning of my,
I want to say when you were probably...
I was about 12 or 13 was when I started picking it up again because we would play with one of the neighborhood boys. And then we dropped off a little bit, and at the beginning of high school, all of my new high school friends were like, we like D&D. And I was like, hey, let me tell you about my dad. So that turned into a big D&D group that lasted almost pretty much the entirety of my high school experience.
I will add that she played with Jillian Webb and Johnny.
Oh yeah.
In a lot of Matt Finch's games at various conventions.
Yeah.
And so she's never felt bad about getting a character killed because Matt's killed so many of her characters.
So many. They're signed. All those dead characters, they're signed.
So
yeah,
you were playing a little more, just not necessarily with.
Yeah, it was
us.
an on and off thing. Until recently, pretty much, when Dad was like, "You really should do this. You're gonna make money." So I kind of gradually was involved in the business, along with being gradually getting more and more into D&D, because your parents are always right in the end.
I don't know about all that. Oh, did I lose? Nope.
Alright, we're good?
Yeah. I think we're good.
You okay?
Yeah, I touched the wire and I was like, oh no, don't touch the wire. So,
Touch the wire. Yes, the internet will turn off if you touch the wire.
Don't touch the wire.
That's how it works.
But no, I mean, yeah, I totally get where she was coming from right there, because it's like an interesting conversation I had with Alex Gygax one time, where he's like, well, I like Magic the Gathering, but I don't like RPGs. It's like, really? That's interesting. Then he tells you why, and it's like, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to play with your folks, I think, to start out with.
Yeah, because well, personally, when I was younger, I never liked playing in front of my parents. I just felt really embarrassed doing it, even if it was like something so like mundane as like pulling out the Barbies and like playing dress up. I just.
I'm busy watching Alyssa create all these shadows around the edges of the walls and the little gullies and stuff where the soil erodes down into the valley here. And I'm like, man, I'm really excited for this version of the Castle Keeper's Guide. I can't even explain how excited I am for it. I back when I started writing like more regularly, I wrote so much, and as we said with this Dirty Bob's Roadhouse thing, I lost my train of thought. But it's just I wrote so much early on that some of the stuff was too weird for necromancer games, and not necessarily weird enough for the stuff that Troll Lord was doing, because it's just a different, feel, like the feel for the
a different interest.
Well, no, they have thematically. I mean, it's D&D, it's high fantasy adventure, and necromancer games is real kind of hardcore demonic, and not really demonic, but for the people who play video games, necromancer games, Frog God games stuff has always been more like what Dark Souls is to like what Elder Scrolls is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's a good way of actually describing them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are Dark Souls. Hence Allah saying earlier, Matt the Merciless. Yes.
Right. Absolutely.
Yes.
It's a tough, brutal, grim adventures. We design non-player characters that are going to put a pain into your characters that they're going to remember.
Yeah. Necrotic damage. Handing it out like dollar bills.
Yeah. Whereas with the trolls, they're doing Castles and Crusades, which is another fantastic game. And it's a little more. I wouldn't say it's lighter hearted. It's not. It's just different. It's it's like I said. It's more like the Skyrim-esque. It's still got dark grimness and stuff, but it's got just a different flavor in how it goes about.
On, like a bit more on other things, like world building.
A lot of world building and all of that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's
not necessarily the story is not necessarily the main focus. It's there, but it's not.
Well, yeah, their adventures are definitely have their own unique spin. It's kind of like a legend and such, like the old movie. Did you ever watch that one?
So what do you guys prefer? Because, Casey, you're writing but this is actually coming out looking pretty good. But you're writing for a few different people, and Ainsley, you've clearly had a lot of influence from your dad's side of things, but you've obviously then got your friends who are gaming. What type of game do you prefer? Do you like the you're going to die, how long can you survive? Or do you like more of the story, narrative, long-spanning campaigns? What do you both like?
Well, I really started to get into D&D around 5th edition because I was like, I don't know, mentally mature enough to really get it. So I've played a couple games where it's like, see how long you can survive in a dark and grim whatever, and I don't know, I don't feel entirely like mentally checked into those, because it's like, oh, my character could die in like the next 6 rounds and I'll just have to make a new one. Which is fine when you're getting a hold of the games to begin with, but when you're more invested into the character that you've created, the interest in the connection with other people's characters, the storytelling and all that, that's really what I've kind of become more interested in.
Yeah, well, and I think as I've grown as both an author, creator, and whatnot, I like the players to be having some fun, you know.
Yeah.
and like if it's a grind and we're going in just to slaughter people, I have modules that I write specifically for that. I run them at conventions, you know, because that's kind of the expectation is, you know, we're going into the blender because it's a convention and, you know, all of the stuff is off. But as far as a home campaign goes, you know, I like to be a little more developing in the story and the worldcraft stuff as well. That's why I like so many of my NPCs have a lot of different connections to different other people in the world. It's something we started when we wrote the original draft of Bard's Gate a long time ago, was like, you know, don't just give the shop owner, don't just say that his name is Clive and he's got, you know, a jar of oatmeal that he hides under his bed to keep away evil spirits or something like that, you know.
Like everybody then.
Yeah, but how about tell us that the evil spirit is real and that it lives in a sewer pipe not far away from where he lives, and that, you know, every once in a while if you're walking past that street you'll hear the coming from the sewer pipe, and only this guy who keeps the oatmeal under his bed knows what it really is. See, now that's fun. And so that's kind of where we go. And I was talking to one of our luminaries in the business a couple years ago, and we were looking at the World Anvil that they have set up for the Frog God games, and it was like so crazy the number of. I'm like, I recognize the name of that guy who's suddenly this like the World Book, that, you know. I recognize the name of that guy. I wrote a module that had that guy in it as a bad guy a long time ago, and now they've developed his whole backstory into this big, like, earth-shaking thing, and it makes it great because with all of the amount of material that we've got from Frog God, and the same with Trolls, and same with Joe and his guys, you know, is you can string together any kind of campaign you want. You can create any kind of 1st to 20th level adventure path out of these long-standing, you know.
Yeah, it really ties all of the campaigns together with these similar faces, familiar faces. Yeah,
and these indie pioneers really kind of leaned into that, and I think that's why those guys are all still around, you know.
I had, I think one of my first experiences of a convention game, it must have been in England. I can't actually pinpoint it at all. I just remember dying really, really, really fast. And afterwards, like the GM saying, you should have gone right because right is right. And I'm like, what the hell does that even mean? What? And I walked away deeply disappointed. I've never quite understood the meat grinder joy. But that's just me, you know. I'm way more into my stories and such.
Right. And that's kind of where but you know, I wrote one not too long ago that had a really pretty involved story and plot to it, and the reviewer said, well, it's a good read, but I'd never play it because it's too complicated for my players.
How old are your players?
Well, no, I mean it was a pretty tough plot. So I mean I get where they're coming from, and so you live and learn. I'm like, well, what was it about this guy's read through that was confusing to me? And then don't do that the next time I write a module.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's but I try to give game masters as much leeway to, do whatever they want with something that we create. Like this adventure I say it's a mini adventure, a simple little adventure, kind of a goofy adventure that's in the Catpocalypse Meow. But the truth of the matter is, it's actually a pretty involved adventure where the characters have more options than just running from monsters in a maze trying to kill them.
Yeah.
There's always an opportunity to have a conversation and maybe cut a side deal.
Yeah. There's so many side deals.
She says this because she plays one of the best rogues ever.
Yeah, I managed to create, I guess, one of the best rogue characters my father has ever seen.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Strictly based off of just my personality alone.
She's such a sweet and beautiful girl, and for all these years I've always been like, I don't understand why whenever we give you those Facebook personality tests, you always come out as thoroughly inherently evil. And
all right, so I gotta ask a question then related to this. Casey, has there ever been a point when you've looked at your daughter and gone, damn?
Yeah. Every day. She's
but from a role play perspective,
Yeah, I'm like, I'm like, I have to get up and leave the room sometimes because I'm not cool enough to be in the room with her.
Oh man, I think he's been the most impressed by me whenever I've had to make very complicated wishes to genies in City of Brass.
Yeah.
Because he'll lean in on me and expecting me to miss something for this genie to be like, oh, you're my slave forever now.
Yeah.
That's how the cookie crumbles. Shouldn't have wished on a monkey's paw.
Yeah. So she's very, very succinct and precise when it comes to making wishes. They were in one of the final campaign encounters for the City of Brass, and they were about to get wrecked really bad.
We were about to lose the
and
game.
They had one wish left. And she's like,
oh, I wish I had my personal djinn.
Yeah.
I turned to him and I was like, hey, can I make a wish? And he's like, yeah, but I'll leave.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yeah, the whole Aladdin thing where she had the genie ring, the djinn ring, as a treasure she'd stolen, and the deal was, he'll come and do whatever you want. You need to fly over there, he'll climb on my back and fly wherever. You need me to fight your enemies, I'll fight your enemies until I'm at 0 hit points and go back in the ring.
Yeah.
And she's like, what about wishes? He goes, well, you get one and then I'm done. And she goes, well, I wish all of the people that we made allies and friends with who were outside fighting our battle for us were in here fighting our battle for us.
Along with us. Take us and put us in that room.
Yeah, so she ended up and summoned a dozen helpful monsters and allies, which was just enough to turn the tide and save the day. Yeah. So I was pretty impressed. But yeah, she does stuff like that. She's like I said, very very good rogue, very good at the diplomacy angle of being a organized criminal. So
yeah, I've always been a pretty big fan of organized crime movies, kind of like John Wick and the whole mob scene kind of.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction. A lot of the early Quentin Tarantino movies where they're all gangsters and stuff.
Stop my beating heart! You had me at Tarantino.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? I'm like, I almost have to leave the room again because she's too cool for me to hang out with.
I like the organization. You have a purpose, you have a job, you fulfill it.
Lawful evil, right there.
And you move on.
And your stuff belongs to me.
Yeah.
And Trolllord Games, welcome. Thank you for being here. You know I absolutely love you. We were talking about you a lot recently.
All night.
All night.
Yep. I've said like 5 times how excited I am about this version of the Castle Keeper's Guide.
Yeah.
It's, is it the Trolllord Steve or Trolllord Davis?
I'm wondering if it's Trolllord Baboonski.
Do you know how to see those?
I think you scroll down.
I'm afraid of touching things. No. Touch the wrong wire.
No, I think we're just watching.
That's true. It's great. I know. I'm like enthralled watching. Are you checking out how she's laying down all? She does this all the time. You can just hop in and watch. Pretty good pointing. Yeah. She's really good at painting minis too.
Who are you talking
I
about?
painted my mini.
You're much better than I am at painting minis. That's for sure.
I can push a brush around.
Yeah, that's what you're the one I ask whenever I want to buy new brushes, how much I should spend and what I should get. And on your recommendation for cheap brushes, right there, right behind me, I have my big box of.
Oh no, you got the one. Yeah.
Because I figured if I destroy them, I've got 50 more of the one.
Have you used them yet?
We have, and got really good results.
Isn't it amazing? What is it, like 50 million brushes for like $5 or something ridiculous?
Yeah, it was a crazy, and I got 2 sizes and happy with both sizes. My wife's very happy with them. She's like I said, she's gotten to be a much more patient painter than I am.
Yeah, she will. Ooh, he'll shove like a whole plate full of primed minis in her face and be like, "You take care of this for the rest of our 4-hour campaign today." And she's like, "Yeah, all right."
And
she'll get through about half of them.
Yeah, she'll knock out about half of them, and then she'll be like, "What do you need next?" Because she paints the monsters based on what I need for the campaigns that we're playing.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I like my painting, but I'm not fast. I am not fast.
Oh, it takes a lot, and like I said, it's funny because we say, it's a hobby lifestyle because there's so many different aspects of it, doing artwork, writing. She's been doing the comics, like I said, the comics are kind of what the other thing that kind of inspired this Catpocalypse. Now it's like we got to joking around about it, and I was like, you should write a comic that has these 3 kind of monsters that are all cat people, and come up with something. And she's like, okay, I got it. And then I read that and I go, okay, now I'm going to turn this into an adventure.
Yeah.
And
for my AP art portfolio, I originally was going to do like some weird, collection of art from the 50s kind of thing, but that had become too vague over the summer before my junior year, and my dad was like, well, you like doing this comic stuff and you like D&D, why don't you just do that? So I was like, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And I managed to make about 13 to 15 pages before COVID hit and AP had to like shrink down their amount that you needed to send in.
They had been at like 20 that they needed or something, and then they've rolled it down to 15 anyways.
Yeah.
And so she was the only one out of all of the people that actually technically had 15 done.
Wow. Yeah. Because like one of my friends, she like lost 2 of her pieces, and I was like,
ooh,
clean your room. Get a flash drive.
I was gonna say, how do you lose something like that?
Oh, she is a cluttered mess.
Oh, really?
You would be surprised. I had a girl about 8 years ago. She had a comic, and it was really, really good. It was kind of about. It was sort of anime. I don't really want to say Spirited Away inspired because that's
Scott Pilgrimage.
Yeah, it's hard to describe. But children were disappearing from all over the world, and there were like these little like ghost spirits that were just showing up in classrooms, and then sitting around some kid, and then the next thing you know, that kid was gone, and all the kids, everyone could see the ghost, and they couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And whenever the ghost started kind of piling in next to him, like on the subway or something, they're like, "Oh no, which one of us is next?" kind of deal. So it had this real creepy thing, and I was dying to see where she was going to go with her conclusion. She left her flash drive in a computer in a business classroom. Somebody swiped it, wiped it, and she hadn't turned in all of her pieces to me yet. She'd only turned in like 7 of the 12 or something like that.
I remember, yeah, because you took home about 7 of them, and I was looking through them, I'm like, this story is disconnected.
Yeah, and so I had a few pieces, but she still had to have the certain amount to turn in, and I'm like, Lydia, you got to do this. And I mean, she was crushed. She shut down for quite some time.
Yeah.
And she just wouldn't do any other work, and I'm like talking to her mom, like, I don't know what we're gonna do, because she's really good, and her mom was really supportive of the arts, so we both kind of leaned on her a little bit. I'm like, you're doing 2D, it doesn't have to be drawing and painting, you're doing 2D, you still have this many pieces that we can use from what I have saved of your stuff as to show off the quality of your work. Mm-hmm. And you could use a camera, you could take photos for your theme. The photo teacher does themes with photos in 2D all the time. And she goes, okay. This girl went home and she had a dollhouse that had been given to her by like her grandmother. And she took all of these dolls, and we're talking the furniture, the little porcelain tea sets, and the whole bit. She made
fully furnished.
She turned it into a serial killer murder scene that she photographed at close range inside the dollhouse, and took 12 pictures, and it was chilling. It was actually an honest to goodness terrifying series of photos that this child took, and she turned it in. She got a 5 on her AP exam, and she submitted her AP portfolio to a bunch of art schools, and she got accepted to Parsons School of Art and Design in New York City in their because she was big in fashion design too. So she got accepted into their fashion program, but with a minor in illustration. So her secondary emphasis was in illustration. So this is a good story. It turned out okay, but it was really touch and go, and those things happen when. And now, as Alyssa would agree, us older, wiser people save things 90 times in multiple devices.
Damn right we do. I've learned that bloody lesson, I'm telling you. I lost, and this is no joke, I lost something like 1,600 hours of work once. It wasn't on a map, it was actually a programming thing I was doing.
Yeah.
And... I had it, I've got it saved. Of course I got it saved on my laptop, and my laptop hard drive just died.
Yeah.
And I had to, and it was phenomenal. I've been programming for years on this piece. It was a private piece I was working on, and I had to actually pay to have those people take my laptop apart, or the hard drive apart, and get the platters and reconstruct the platters and pull off it, and it cost me an arm and a freaking leg. And after that, I was like, I am gonna have a lot of redundancy. And honestly, it saved me now too, just being on the cloud. I use personally Dropbox.
Same.
And I've accidentally deleted pieces. And nowadays, when I'm like, oh, where is this? I don't panic. I'm like, I'll find it. It'll be on Dropbox, worst case,
I had 3.5 hours of painting in a piece that I'm working on right now, personal piece, and I was working on a surface, but I had too many items attached to the surface because there's a dock and all the document camera, all the teaching materials, 2 monitors going, and I'm just kind of scribbling away while the kids are doing their work. Plus, it's nice to show them how to actually apply colors in a program like Photoshop, do the digital illustration stuff. So I'm kind of cranking away, and then blue screen.
Oof.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no. I didn't even want to open it up. I didn't want to look, and I opened it up, and of course, it is still on my machine. It's still 8:15 is the last save for that, and I was like crushed. And I was like, man, I have autosave turned on. This has to be somewhere. And so I did the old Google foo, and sure enough, I found it. And I'd only lost about 5 minutes worth of work, but you had to go to some really lengths in order to locate where it was actually hidden at.
Mm-hmm.
So, but at least that was there to not lose the whole thing, because yeah, as you say, I losing thousands of hours worth of time. I had a bad experience with in a computer lab when I was in college, where I had my final written for my photo history class. It was the only class I needed to freaking graduate and get my degree. The only class I needed to graduate and get my degree. And I'm in this studio, and it's like 1 a.m., whatever, one of their all-night computer labs.
Mm-hmm.
Some girl walks by with her gigantic backpack, bumps the back of the computer, and that's when the Macs, everything was plugged into the back. And that was your hard drive, your screen, your little floppy disk drive, the whole deal. All ran out of one unit out of the back of the computer. When she unplugged it, woof, everything's gone. So I had to rewrite a 14-page final between 2 and 7 a.m.
Can't do that. Can't do that.
Never doing that again is what I said. So yeah. Yeah, that put me off for a while as well. I was like, and I just looked at her, I was like, I can't believe you just did that. And she kind of went, Eep, and just, she was gone.
Gosh. So Ainsley, what's it like being a younger person in this world of computers where, I mean, do you intrinsically just save to the cloud and stuff nowadays so you don't have this type of problem?
Well, actually, I've had a similar issue not too long ago, actually.
Okay.
I was working on the second of the two little mini comics that I was originally supposed to do. There's only one in the book now because there was just so many pages. So I'm working on like the second page. I'm drawing like this really small picture of all the characters. And I'm putting a lot of detail in it. And I'm like, this is gonna look awesome. And I finished that panel. I'm like, man, my arm's tired. So I click save. I turn off my computer. I come back a week later. It's gone. I had to redraw that entire thing. It did not have as much detail as it originally did. So now I do frequent saves. I have autosave on my Photoshop, and I need to get a Dropbox soon.
I've been yelling at her about Dropbox and PayPal for a minute. So this is one of our inspirations, the original Catpocalypse himself, Mr. Frisky Dingo.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't let me name him Killface when we got him.
Well, he was just kind of rolling around on the porch. He wasn't really kill-face enough at that point.
Yeah, he's one of the ones who adopted us, and now he's trying to see how many lives he has left by testing every wire underneath my desk with his teeth.
Yeah.
Don't you just love cats that chew wires?
Oh yeah, he's my favorite.
Yes.
I think he's actually trying to tell you that he wants food. It's too early for him to get his food.
Yeah.
Take him up to
30 minutes.
Mama. But yes, he's actually getting over here, boy. He's actually a model for some of the kitty cats and characters in the Catpocalypse, as you can see. He's a ragdoll, so he'll do horrible, awful, evil things, but then when you pick him up, he goes completely limp, like a sack of potatoes. So,
Well, a big lump. Lovely.
He's huge. He's a big, fluffy.
Alex Vixen says, I know an artist who lost a digital piece that had been working on for 3 days straight to a power cut. He was sure he had autosave on, and that he had copies earlier versions. That was almost English. That was me, apparently not being able to read. Finds out the power cut had caused an electrical feedback that fried his backup drive and his external. Oh, that is rough.
That hurts.
That is rough.
Yeah. Oh my. That's when that happens to like my students and such, I'm just like, you have 100% of my sympathy.
So you've got to be
just,
pretty hard though, huh? I mean, I know that you probably get students that are goofing off and not doing the work, and you weed them out. But to the ones that are genuinely losing their work to like power outages or theft or whatever,
right.
I mean that's gotta be really hard on you to kind of go, yeah, but these are the rules.
Well, when it comes to stuff like AP, where it's very, very much cut and dried. I have a lot of kids who have a variety of needs, and that's true all across our country. Our kids need as much help as we can give them, and that's a fact. But so I'm more sympathetic to a lot of their issues when they have a due date with me. I am flexible. I will take some points off if it's not turned in on time, because it's not fair for them to get 100% if they are a week or whatever late, a few days late, that kind of thing. But due to the fact that I have so many kids with so many various needs, I will allow them to turn stuff in late up till the very bitter end, and I'm on them all the time. Turn this in. I call, I never thought I'd be the type of teacher that call parents. I call parents. I'm like, hey, I know something's going on, whatever's going on, whatever we can do to help out, let's get this going. Because as I said, they need us more than we really can understand right now, especially with all this stuff that's been going on. And it's not just the pandemic stuff. Our kids have been struggling now for several years with all the variety of different things. And I honestly, I'm one of those guys. I don't think these help, but it's not a hill I'm going to die on, as far as the being attached to a cell phone, and seeing all of the stuff that they see, from the minute they get one of those devices in their hand, or any other tech. It's got its good sides and its bad sides. You and I are able to create all kinds of fantastic art and wonderful things with the technology, but there's an inherent danger to too much of the wrong stuff on there. So I'm a real champion for, why don't you create your own thing instead of letting someone else tell you what the thing is that you should like or enjoy. That makes any sense.
Yeah, no, it totally does. It totally does.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in that, as far as like part of my day job is definitely giving back. In the form of the opportunities that were given to me through art and through technology and things like that. It's kind of funny, they're like, well, what would you be doing if you weren't a teacher? I'm like, probably the same stuff I'm doing now, which is, writing and drawing and creating stuff. But I'm like, hey, be happy, kids, because I actually like hanging out with you. So. They definitely keep you younger. Like this one, she keeps me young.
Gotta swivel my way in.
Swivel in.
So, out of curiosity, back on the role-playing front, who runs for who?
Oh, who runs right now?
Yeah.
My hair's all over the place. Currently, my friend Zach, different Zach. We know the GDZ. This one is Zach Kirkendall. He's been in my gaming group for about 15 years.
Yeah, he's been there since before me.
No.
Okay.
But yeah, we've been playing together about 14, 15 years, and I've always been the DM. And now it's he's running Ravenloft, and I bought it and never read it, so I'm like, okay, so my character is right here, based exactly on the Jackie Daytona character from What We Do in the Shadows, and we're playing Ravenloft. So
I love What We Do in the Shadows, by the way, like a huge amount.
And
I asked her if she's seen Toast.
Have you watched Toast of London?
No.
It's absolutely vile, and I go through and I love every minute of it.
It's got the same dude.
It's Matt Berry.
Yeah,
So
Matt Berry.
Matt Berry plays a flailing actor in London.
Struggling.
Very struggling. And he's got this like really crazy accent voice that he does where he kind of like holds some of his words way too long.
He hams up his own accent.
Yeah, he's like, but so that's how I'm playing my bard in this Ravenloft campaign. Ainsley, tell him the character you're playing right now.
My character, she is a cleric, an evangelical preacher of her
Faith.
god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's Linda Televangelista.
But the entire look of my character is based off of this one drag queen called Katya. She has like this really big 80s hair all the time. So I took a screenshot of her, and that is the profile picture of my character. So
she's very much into converting and bringing the light to everyone, sort of like a Fultus type god, and
Linda Televangelista.
And
nice. Big name. I love it.
Yeah, I'm the idiot bard, and then my wife is playing the wizard for the group, and we have another good buddy of ours is a paladin, and then recently we added a friend of mine from my gaming campaign from nearly 40 years ago.
Yeah, time does fly.
So yeah, one of my buddies that I've known my whole life, he's joined because we can play online with all of the different online things, the Zoom and Discord and all that stuff. So it's great being able to play with this guy again. He's playing some kind of crazy barbarian. So
yeah, it's like he seems to have a lot more
going on.
Magical powers than a barbarian is technically allowed to have.
It's just flavor text. Most of it is just
mostly.
Flavor text. But
a lot of his D&D stuff is flavor text. That's what
he played a character. I forget what the character class was when we were playing. It was a second edition character kit. I think he was a swashbuckler, but he played basically like he was like a superhero because he was like Secret Identity. He was like a nerdy Ichabod Crane type guy when he started out, and then whenever a fight would break out, he'd run around the corner and then throw his costume off and come out, and he was the Grey Goose there to protect everyone.
I like that.
Yeah. So he's always been a real. It's refreshing playing with some people who are really getting into the roles of their characters. So. My buddy who plays the paladin, he kind of plays him as a pompous dim bulb, but good meaning, well meaning, but he's just kind of like everybody's taking advantage of him all the time. And I tell everyone I'm his herald, and I do what I used to do to Davis Chenault, which is my guy goes into town and completely tells lies and fabrications about the fellow before he shows up, and he can't figure out why nobody's nice to him.
Yeah.
So that's.
He is the walking, talking false advertisement.
I've been trying to get Ainsley to run, and she will eventually. I think she's just trying to.
School.
Right. Yeah.
School's big.
And running, just the prep can be very time consuming.
Oh yes, yeah.
My friend, she's currently reading the DM book because she plans to DM for my group of friends because she's an archaeology major and got nothing better to do.
You know what? I honestly think she'll be a good DM.
Yeah.
I really do.
She's gonna be an amazing DM.
Yeah.
She really is because she's so dedicated. She's so dedicated to her characters, her storytelling, and all that.
Yeah.
And I honestly think she's gonna do way better than me because I kept putting off reading the book. So she's really stepped up and took initiative.
Yeah, I like that. She's it's like I'll hand her the books to look at. She goes, I learn it by playing.
Yeah. I'm probably just gonna learn it by doing all the monsters for this guy.
Yeah, that's one of our plans. I think we're gonna have her start running monsters for me. I used to run monsters for Bill Webb at conventions so that people wouldn't be mad at him for killing everybody at the table. So.
You're gonna be like scapegoat.
Well, there's a tradition to that though, because Rob Kuntz used to run monsters for Gary Gygax so that people wouldn't get mad at Gary for Rob killing all of their guys.
So, question then for you both. How have you adjusted to virtual playing? And I don't mean physically how have you adjusted to it, but has it been a good experience? Have there been any challenges?
I'm gonna let him answer first.
Okay. When I got one of these, the little Logi cams, because I don't use virtual tabletop, I use all of my miniatures. Because why else would I have, all of these miniatures?
Yeah, why else would he have a whole bookshelf full of these guys?
Why would I have several bookshelves full of miniatures? So it took a while to get a camera that worked, that could actually focus with the precision and detail that made me happy. And so you put it up on one of the little tripod doohickeys, and then can move it around on top of the terrain. I have a combination of Trolls Used to Pay Me in Dwarven Forge. If they're still here, that's true. And so I have a combination of the old, really heavy cast Dwarven Forge stuff, and the stuff that I've printed in a 3D printer. A lot of it off of your good buddy Tullis's.
I don't know Tullis. Who's he? Yeah, not familiar with the name.
Not familiar with that man at all. But the combination of the two bit, and so then I'll move the camera around and aim it to wherever and then I point at the table. Is this where your character is? Is this where your character is?
Okay, that works. What about though from a mechanical, like being with other people, role playing, not talking over the GM, not talking over each other? How's that been working out?
It's with our group, it's pretty much the same regardless.
Yeah.
There's gonna be somebody who's snacking and somebody who's on their phone.
And there's gonna be someone who's like blowing their nose.
You got to remember not to be taking the big you don't want the 12-pack of tacos right in the middle of the game, or some real crunchy nachos and stuff. But I think once we got the camera situation sorted out and everything, that worked out pretty good. We do have constant issues with getting dropped.
We do.
Yeah.
It's almost like a whole wave effect. So if one person gets dropped, then everyone else has to get off so that they can go all back in at the same time.
Now, do you think that's do you think that's like the virtual tabletop you're using, or what?
It's a lot about Discord.
Yeah.
Okay, Discord.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have no issues with Discord, but apparently my father and all of his buddies have all sorts of issues.
It's just what gets me frustrated, I guess, and it's not the fault of Discord. I think that they've actually improved it quite a bit in the last year. You can see how it's actually developed through a lot of its growing pains and stuff. And why I can't remember passwords, I don't know. We talked about that off camera and what. But the getting booted happens, but it's not something that's insurmountable. It's just frustrating to me, partly because of the teaching from home in the virtual teaching, which I go into the building and teach. Part of my students are at home and part of the students are in the classroom right now. And to me, it's like, oh, this is like those learning platforms they're making us use. And then it's like, you don't want the thing that you have to do at work stepping on the thing that you're doing for fun.
Yeah. So he just needs to let me control Discord from now on. Pretty much. I mostly get onto Discord to hang out with my friends over video calls. Ever since COVID really came in and knocked us all on our butts. But pretty much the transition from tabletop to online has been a little odd. I get a lot of work done during those. Like a lot of digital artwork, I get that done during online games, but I don't.
It's different, but it's the same. I mean, if everyone's there in person, the way we end up playing is half the people are painting minis while we're playing anyways.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just kind of it's hobby time.
Okay.
It's time we're getting our rolling dice in, we're getting our critical hits, we're getting our background information, and then, but we also had a pretty big group to start with.
We had a very big group.
We were at 9 people playing at one time, and my basement isn't that big. So we ended up finished out with about 6, just because some of the kids
dropped off. Well, yeah, mostly because of like jobs. Yeah.
So we had a few of them drop off, but it's definitely different. But at the same time, it's still gaming. It's still having that community, and honestly, I think it's actually made a lot of the gaming community stronger. I don't buy all of the people who are out here on all of the social media platforms looking to pick fights and start all of that stuff. We know who the community is. We know who that it's not a big community, especially amongst the creator community, and that we're, for the large part, in some, at least one, if not overall, a couple of really big families, and that's how I feel like when I go to North Texas or Gary Con. It's like I'm going and I'm seeing all my friends and I'm seeing family, and that's how it feels.
It's like one big family reunion.
Yeah, very much is.
Family.
You got the table full of snacks, you got all the games to play, and you got all the same people that you're used to seeing. But online gaming has really broadened really opened the door to being able to play the same game with like 2 or 3 other people, like literally states away. Yeah, because that's what's happening in our current session. We've got like 2 or 3 people that are in like Texas or we had
a buddy in Texas. We got one in Wisconsin. Yeah. And it's like we just all go, okay, we're gonna spend, and the other thing about the online is it's easier to set a start and finish time. I think it's easier to keep your obligation to your friends to play, even if it isn't always like convenient that particular day, that particular time. You're like, hey, we're just gonna play 3 hours. We're gonna play a 3-hour session, and we start at 12:30. We're done at 3:30. And then we get on with whatever other stuff we got to do on a Sunday, whether it be running the barbecue or mowing the lawn or any of that kind of stuff that has to happen.
Finishing a Zine,
finishing your homework, writing lesson plans, all of that kind of stuff. Trying to get some writing done for RPGs, trying to get some artwork finished, contacting the artists that work for me and putting them into assignments and stuff. So it's like I said, it's the gaming has opened up a lot of possibilities for me in my life and for Ainsley in her life, and it's kind of cool. Like as Stephen King said once upon a time, if you got paid to write something and then you use that money to pay a bill, then you are a writer. And there were plenty of times where we paid off pretty important bills with money that I made from cranking out a module in order to be able to pay that bill. So, and like to feel like most of them were pretty decent. So, but that goes back to the Dirty Bob's Roadhouse thing. That the reason that name is there is because we were playing a game and we got stupid rich in this game like 20 years ago. We had a bunch of online characters, which gets right back to the online thing. We were literally playing online Dungeons and Dragons 20 years ago, but it was a text-based, chat-based thing. It was all theater of the mind because they didn't have the maps, they didn't have the virtual tabletops, you didn't really have webcams. You kind of did.
It was kind of mostly just role-playing.
Just role-playing, mostly role-playing, and then they had a dice roller on their thing on Sword and Sorcery Studios. So we got crazy rich. Me and a few other characters survived we had some really good dice rolls, and we survived against some enemies we should have been able to beat with a lot of 19s and 20s rolled, and a lot of failed saving throws on the part of the bad guys. So we took their loot, and we had more money than the economy for the town could really endure. So we kind of had a conclave with the dungeon masters for the setting, and we're like, well, why don't we just like build a roadhouse outside of town where all the outlaws and bums can hang out?
Okay.
And my character was one of my characters was kind of a dumb, obnoxious barbarian. Not really dumb, he's just obnoxious. And he kept talking about gods that didn't exist in their campaign world. And so that's where Baub came from, because people would ask him, well, who is he? Oh, he's like a Crom kind of god. He's just brutal, and he hates giants, and he hates witchcraft, and therefore I don't like any of you. You know, that he's just being obnoxious. But that's where the Baub came from, because he called everybody a Baub. Now, that came about because of I was reading some Harry Harrison Stainless Steel Rat books at the time, and then I read Bill the Galactic Hero. And in the opening scene of Bill the Galactic Hero, he's a dumb farm boy who, on a farm planet, who gets approached by a drill instructor who tells him, if you join the Space Marines, why, you can kill our enemies to save humanity. You can help visit the stars. Why, you can even say Baub whenever you want. And Bill was shocked, because that's the filthiest word that you could say in the galaxy. So that's where it all came from. So Dirty Baub's the dirtiest word that you can say in the universe, according to the author Harry Harrison. So
thank you, Marlon Skill. That's really, really, really appreciate it. I think, I mean, I'm gonna dick about with this background a lot more, but the maps are done. I don't have anything more on these maps to actually do at this point.
They are gorgeous. I'm so excited. Yeah, we need to tune in, and you need to watch more frequently.
I do. My plan this summer is to get better at both painting in real life and painting digitally. So maybe I can pick up a couple techniques on it.
3 times a week, I'm always working on something. We're gonna be wrapping on Necropolis here shortly too. That one's getting really, really, really close.
Yeah, it is. I'm really excited for that one too, because I've been art directing on the new edition for about 6 months to a year, and there's quite a few really, really cool pieces in there. We got Sid Quaid, Mike Syragos. I've got Brian LeBlanc back, and he's got some really cool paintings in there. He did a lot of the pieces in the original Necromancer Games version in black and white, and I was like, how'd you like to do a couple of these in color? And he's like, oh yeah. So yeah, we've got some really gorgeous pieces for that book, and I wish things could have worked out differently so that it would have come out in the time and the way that we wanted it to.
How do you mean?
Well, you know, we it's one of Gary's toughest adventures, and it, you know, would have
actually talking about a meat grinder, right?
Yeah, but it's at the same time it's really neat, because he wrote that after having finally gone to Egypt and visited all of the places and seen all of the stuff firsthand. So that was where he got inspired to write that. And for him to be as truthful as he could to the actual mythology and source material, while still making it a legendary adventure. So it's cool. Like I said, I'm kind of into that tough stuff. I like the tough games, and but I know that the 5e version is going to be pretty special.
Have you seen anything that Mark's been coming up with?
I really, I have, and it's pretty. He's got some really good ideas, and he's definitely made it tough, but it's it's going to be playable in the 5e format, because if you played 5e, it is a different game, but it's not. I mean, it is, but it isn't. It's I don't know. I don't get into Edition Wars all that much. I tend to enjoy most games that I get a chance to play in. Some games I like to play more than I like to run. I was like that with Deadlands. I like to play Deadlands, but I didn't want to run Deadlands.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure I've encountered another player of Deadlands outside my own group. I love Deadlands.
Oh man, I like playing the Revenant type guys, you know. But the wizards are pretty cool. The spellcasters they play a card game with the devil.
That thinking system loves me, man.
So nice, so nice.
Yeah, I think it's even Pex in the channel with us does not like explodey dice systems. I might be misremembering that.
Yeah.
But explodey dice love me. Oh my god. I can take a D4 or a D6 into the 30s.
Yeah.
In unerringly common way, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, like I said, some games more fun for me to play, but I don't have people to play them with, you know, because everybody's playing whatever they're playing. You know, you'll have your small groups. I mean, I'm here in Wichita, and you know, Alan Groh and those guys have had an AD&D game going on here for, you know, their whole lives pretty much. And yeah, I'm not crashing that game. Those guys have been playing together for like 35 years.
Yeah, you're not gonna cramp their style.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like they got their thing, and it's cool, and that's awesome if you can have a group in a game that, you know, has been going on for that long. That says a lot, you know, about the gaming itself, you know, and the friends that you make through gaming, you know, is a lot of these friends have been friends my whole life, so it's pretty neat. And the new friends like yourself have all been pretty awesome as well.
So Ainsley, what about you and systems? How many? I know you mentioned 5e earlier on, but how much do you play other games?
I'm not very much of a big other type of video game or board game type person. I have played.
Played 3rd edition.
Yeah, I played 3rd edition, and I played Swords and Wizardry.
Castles and Crusades.
Castles and Crusades.
Okay.
But other than that, I haven't really.
Tell them about the video games that you play, though, because you play some pretty.
I play some pretty out there video games, honestly.
Princess
Striker wants to know if you played Call of Cthulhu, Ainsley.
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and we actually want to do a campaign. I'm kind of at a loss right now for time to come up with one.
Yeah.
Day. So we may have to end up and actually do some prepackaged stuff.
Yeah.
Just to give it a whirl, because I've got literally all the books on my shelf right in the other room, and I open them up and I read them, and I've read through the whole player's book, and I'm like, okay, cool. Now I need to read the next book, and it's like I don't have time to get into it right now. But
yeah. We just have had like wall to wall, no time.
Yeah.
I told my dad, I'm like, it feels like the weekends have just become a 30-minute lunch break every single time.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
We gotta do.
Yeah.
But some of the games that I've played, like I said, I don't play a lot of video games, but I did play a lot of those girl-centric like DS video games, like Littlest Pet Shops, like, you know, Take Care of All. I was a sucker for the girl-oriented like DS games.
How many months of quarantine while I was playing Red Dead did you play Animal Crossing?
I love Animal Crossing. I'm terrible at terraforming, but I love catching all the fish. I love catching all the bugs. And
So
I love
she's in
getting
her
all
room.
the fossils.
She's in her room catching fish and stuff, and in
a cutesy
Animal
little
Crossing.
art style.
And then she walks into the living room, and I'm in there spending hours catching fish and Red Dead.
It literally is like taking, you know, the marketing tools that people use to distinguify gender and like deodorants or something, where it's like the man's stuff is all sharp edges and the dark colors, and the girls is all like light and soft and stuff. So that's pretty much Animal Crossing compared to Red Dead, but they're also kind of completely different.
Yeah. And I know Alyssa put in a lot of hours on Cyberpunk 2077, and I probably put in more hours because I cleared every dumb side quest you could possibly do.
This man will just start talking about something that happened in Cyberpunk without telling anyone that it was from Cyberpunk. So we're all looking at him like, what context is this coming from?
What do you mean you stepped around the corner in the alley and beat everybody to death with your gorilla hands? What are you talking
What
about,
do you mean
Dad?
you ran into like a prostitute that wasn't a girl? What are you talking
Yeah,
about? You
that's-
never left the house.
Yeah, that game's got a lot going on. But it was funny because I finally actually beat one of the story playthroughs like 2 nights ago.
Yeah, he did.
And I haven't touched any of my games since then, because it was like, wow, that was like as melancholic and just kind of a sad. It's like
Did you get the space station one? Is that what you did?
Yeah.
That's the one I got. And yes, that was like a punch to the gut at the end. Yes.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, I did all this, and yeah.
And now I'm sad. Yes.
No, I'm sad. And I was
So
like,
much for everyone liking me.
and then what comes on the other day when I got home last night when I got home from work was the new Blade Runner movie. And I was like,
yeah.
I was like, I feel like this dude right here just gutted and left.
He thought he was so special.
I thought I was so special.
So Princess Draco is now highlighting a question so she could be heard here. But Ainsley, this is for you. Do you like games like The Sims?
I tried getting into The Sims. I never could get my Sims to learn how to cook, so I just quit. I tried. I really tried. I was like, how do I cook?
For me, I wanted to love The Sims a huge amount when it first came out, like what, a decade ago, 20 years ago. I bought it immediately, and I sat down and I started to play it, and I was having fun. And then I want to say a couple hours in, I was like, wait a minute. This is me playing me in another life. I'm just waking up, I'm cooking breakfast, I'm going to work, I'm coming back. Wait a minute. So I need to break up from my real life.
Oh,
Yeah.
what game was it? Steel Rain? Is it Steel Rain? The one that's like the big serial killer game, and it was on PlayStation 3. And everybody's like, you have to play this game. You have to play this game. It's amazing, and you just got to stick it out. And I was a coward, and I couldn't stick it out because after I had to get up and go to the bathroom.
Jack says Heavy Rain. Jack played it. Jack played it. Yeah.
Yeah, and brush my teeth and all of this stuff, and it was like 35, 40 minutes, and then going to work and doing the guy's actual job.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, this might be the best game ever, but this also feels a lot like how I spent a couple hours of my day already.
Yeah, it's like,
So, yeah, give me the mutants and the big guns, and it is true what you said though. You get to a point in Cyberpunk where you're pretty much indestructible to anything except for a direct hit from a hand grenade.
Yeah, they've got. I'm not going to knock on Cyberpunk. I'm just going to leave it alone for a year or so and then come back to it. But they've got some balance issues in that game.
Yeah, I was doing 242,000 points worth of damage with a headshot. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like.
he would run up on someone and just like kill him in one punch. And I'm like, oh, that's.
Oh yeah, and I discovered that one, like a melee weapon with certain combinations of other items. Yeah. You're destroying everything, and I stopped being scared. I was using a katana, and I was like, I don't need this. I just don't need this, and I'll just run around punching everyone. You know, I'm like, this is a bit silly when you're not scared of anyone anymore.
Yeah.
It was fun, and I really enjoyed it. I honestly say.
Incredible graphics, incredible map. Like the city itself, stunning, just stunning.
Well, and the side quests that were actually quests instead of just like the dumb gang members standing out on the street corner, police requests, stuff like that. The actual quests were really good. I enjoyed all of them quite a bit.
I did a couple of the romance things that were available, but there was one with a guy called River.
Yeah.
I fell in love with River. Like in real
same.
life, I fell in love with River. Just period. I was actually a little bit sad that you couldn't continue the relationship after you kind of finished the relationship, because I just wanted to go hang out at River's place every bloody night. I didn't want to do anything else.
and I got into a weird one with that because I loved the whole quest tree with him, and then with that whole thing was great. But then when he invited me to, hey, let's go have some drinks on top of the water tower, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm being romanced. I had no idea I was being romanced the whole time. I was just trying to hang out, and I'm like, and so I kind of went like with the high five guy, good job, hey, we saved all the people, great work, and I was like, man, I didn't realize I was being in the
You're being wooed, man.
I had no idea that I had that impact on the character, which is great when you feel that way because you're like, that's some really good writing. Some really good.
No, it was spot on. That was one story arc where I truly felt you could woo me, River, please. I was like, I was in love.
Yeah. So we did the I did the Pan Am one.
Yeah.
And that was it was interesting. It was kind of like I was trying to explain to a friend of mine who doesn't know anything about games, who was asking me about it. I was like, it's kind of like the Road Warrior, she's like a Road Warrior person, but it was a cool little kind of quest. But as one of my female friends pointed out, she goes, yeah, you notice she never calls you again after you hook up.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
So like, she goes, so kind of temper your feelings on that because you probably weren't that impressive.
Oh.
And I was like, the burn. And then the next time you actually do talk to her, the next 2 times you actually do talk to her in the sequence of the overall plot, she's mad at you the whole time.
Wow.
It's like, yeah, this is
what did you do?
Way realistic. I feel like I'm 19, making everybody mad all the time. And that was, I guess, one of the only things I was like, wow, you tried to do things, your own way, and then everybody's pissed at you. They don't want to talk to you anymore. So, again, great writing, though, because that's very realistic.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. I didn't feel like it was taking me for a ride when it came to the romance things or any of the other stuff. Because I don't mean to like bag on Dragon Age. I know a lot of people really like that game, but I couldn't dig it because I felt like everybody was kind of a jerk to you, but maybe it was the storyline that I chose like the human fighter character or whatever, and it's just I didn't feel like any of the people in my party were A, helpful, or B, really liked me, because it seemed like at the end of every fight they were like kind of sending me on all of the things that I didn't do for them, when I'm like, I'm really kind of one piece in all of this stuff by myself. Where were you guys at?
Yeah. See you guys on the corner.
But you're gonna get all snarky and talk bad about me because I didn't run over and heal you fast enough while I was busy killing that dragon.
I like Dragon Age 2. Which one are you talking about?
The first one.
Okay, I never played that one.
Yeah, it was like I said, I felt kind of abused and humiliated by the NPCs by the end of that one.
I feel like they must have dialed it in for number 2 then, because number 2 has some of the my most favorite dialogues and NPCs interacting with NPCs and even love sequences that I've encountered in any game.
That's I didn't play the second one because of the first one, but I would buy that. It's sort of like the Batman Arkham games. Those have some pretty awesome storytelling, some pretty awesome interactions and takes on the characters and villains that, every time I play through one of them, I'm like, why didn't they just hire this guy to write the scripts for the movies?
Right.
This is way more engaging and makes you feel more of
the weight of DC's comic abilities.
Right, and I like both.
I love what Marvel MCU is doing. I don't really like Marvel comics. Yeah. I don't like the way the DC movies are going. I really like DC comics.
Yeah.
It's the trade-off I chose, I guess.
Yeah. And my whole background with comics has always been like I was into more of the underground comics. But if I really counted up my collections, I'd say
a good majority of your comics.
I have a lot of DC comics.
DC,
yeah, I have a ton of DC comics, but they're all like they're weird indie.
Yeah,
they're
like Conan. They're like
no, that's Conan's Marvel though. See, so that's where it goes the other way. Yeah. So I did I like the epic and heavy metal and all of that, but I also like the Savage Sword of Conan, Conan the Barbarian. I mean, Captain America I've always liked, Iron Man I've always liked. I didn't really collect a lot of them, but it's nice to having stuff like Comixology where you can kind of catch up on a year or two worth of back issues for like $3 a month. But Watchmen.
Yeah, I really like the
Dark
Watchmen.
Knight. All of the
like
Dark Knight
Watchmen.
books.
I really like
Doom Patrol.
the
Love
most
Doom
recent.
Patrol.
I really like the most recent run of Doom Patrol so far.
Yeah.
Except I don't have all of it.
Yeah, she's been on my case for. We're missing 2 issues of the last run of Doom Patrol, and so she's trying to talk me into buying the.
Well, we're missing 2 editions and a whole nother storyline.
There was a whole other storyline.
Yes, there was.
Well, then I guess I'll have to buy it and read it now. So,
Yeah.
whenever I can get it out of your room.
Well, look, Ainsley, Casey, this has actually been a longer stream than I would normally do because this has been so cool. I've loved talking to both of you. I do want to give one last shout out. Everyone that's in the chat, everyone that's lurking in the background there, go check out this Kickstarter. This is extremely close now to hitting the $1,000 mark.
Oh, wow.
Try and help that happen. I would really appreciate it. I know that Casey and Ainsley would as well. Catpocalypse Meow. If you don't buy this just based upon the name alone, you've got a problem. Okay, go get it.
What we're at right now, the funding thing, I didn't do stretch goals, any of that kind of stuff at all. I know that's weird, unusual for a first one, but we knew what we wanted and we knew what content we had. What we're doing right now is the money that we raise is literally paying for the best quality paper, the best quality covers that we can get made for it. Because if people back this and they dig it and they really like this stuff, then we want to give them something that's worth their money, So that's 100% what it's about. And I know it says like 32 pages, but we're definitely over 42. We'll probably be about 48 pages.
Yeah,
Nice.
You're gonna get a lot more than what you paid for.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice.
So, and we really appreciate it, and thank you for having us on here to talk about all this. It's been great. We miss you. We miss Jack so much. It's we can't wait to see you guys again. Hopefully everybody can get their shots and we can get it together and Texas doesn't have another spasm.
Well, I'll tell you what, Case.
Hopefully Texas doesn't implode.
Right, no, totally, right. But just for you both, I'm gonna noodle this background, but I finished this map tonight. This is done, and I did it with both of you here with me. So I'm super jazzed about that. I'm kind of really super happy.
Well, so I'm pretty excited.
I'm sure Stephen will be happy to have this in his hands. I'll be able to actually go, here you go, finally got it done.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say if ever he gets upset with you, remember he can be bought off with Dr. Pepper and bologna sandwiches.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm putting that one in the vault. Okay. All right, I got it right here. All right.
He's a good guy.
That's an odd combination, but okay, that's good. So for everyone in the chat, I am back tomorrow night. We're going to be working on Necropolis. Necropolis is going to be done here shortly as well. We're close on that one. So this is going well. We're going to be moving on to new projects here shortly. Next week on Monday, Tuesdays, I think we're going to start working on the Viking map. So that's going to be an exciting one indeed. So again, Ainsley, Casey, you're Casey from now on. Thanks for joining us tonight. I really do appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep.